Hey everyone, it's your average chess player here. Today we are going to look at this endgame position. It is white's turn to play and we have to try and find the winning move for white here. Feel free to pause the video and try to find the best move for white. As usual, I'll leave the timestamps in the description for the solution. So if you want to verify your calculation or just want to know the solution for this position, just skip ahead and go check out the solution. Stick around if you want to see how I approach this position, nuances that I noticed, patterns that I saw, and mistakes that I did along my calculation before finally solving the position. So let's get started and let's see how I went about this position. The first thing that I noticed is that white needs 4 moves to catch up to these 2 pawns and black needs 3. So out of all the 8 legal moves, which you could say are our candidate moves technically, we can remove this half of our candidate moves because none of these moves kind of save us any tempo by moving towards the pawn. They're all going to waste a tempo by not going towards our pawn, and black can simply catch up to the pawn on a6. So let's remove all that, which leaves us with these 3 moves, and let's put in a token move, king to e7, just a direct approach all the way to that pawn, and let's see what happens. We're going to put a direct approach for black too, and we're going to just walk both kings up front. We're just in time on b7 to protect this pawn. After a series of moves, you could see that this variation is winning for white, and we can queen our pawn. So this is an endgame study after all, so the solution is not going to be that simple. Since we usually do candidate moves for ourselves, we are also now going to do candidate moves for the black king, because king b3 obviously is the right move here. There's something else we are missing. So again, we're going to do the same thing. King b3 is already eliminated. a1, b1, and c1 are all losing a tempo. So white king needs just 3 moves to get in, whereas these 3 are going to lose a tempo. So do these 2 moves. And king a3 is again kind of the same thing as b3, because if you see this, the same thing is gonna happen, and it's just that you're in a kind of in a different position, and that's pretty much it. So we'll go back here. We eliminate a3 as well, which leaves us with just c3. So let's play king c3. And what is the difference b3 between b3 and c3? With king on the c3 square, you have access to d4. That is the only difference. Instead of being on b3, and we're gonna see how that difference is gonna make a like how that d4 square is gonna make a difference. So king to d7, king to d4, and here is around roughly this point where I actually understood what the pattern and what the plan that black is going for. So we'll see that unravel in a few moves now. So let's keep going. King to c7, king to e5. So black is just traversing on the dark squares as of now. King to b7, king to d6. Again, one more dark square move. And after king takes a7, king c7, black has made all the way here from b2, has made his own path. And now, if you notice, white's king is in prison, has no squares to go to apart from a8 and a7. After king a8, here, if you move the pawn, it's a stalemate. You go back to a7 and you'll just keep repeating moves, and it's a draw by repetition. And that is black's plan. I don't know if it was obvious when the king started out on b2, or even if it was obvious when the king was on e5, but black is going to play king c3, get to e5 somehow and come to c7, or even c5 somehow and come to c7. But black wants to end up on c7, so you can imprison white's king when the king takes on a7. So that is the plan. Now, with that in mind, we're going to take up e7. We need to now confront the black king in some way, so as to restrict his own movement and also prevent him from getting to c7 and capture this pawn so we can queen. So that is the plan for white now. And we now know what black's idea in the position. I'm going to take away e8 as a candidate move because we are stepping away from the black king, whereas we should be coming in closer to kind of confront the black king ourselves. So which leaves us with a sound e6 move, king to e6. This is a good solid candidate move from sound reasoning, so we're gonna go with that. We're gonna put in king c3 and see what happens now. Now here, if you play king to d6, again there are this is a fork in the road. You have e5, d6 and d5. e5 is again kind of gonna goes away from the tempo aspect we are talking about. So we're gonna look at d6 and d5. d7 is similar to the earlier variation we saw where this is going to happen. So d7 is not there. So d6, what happens now? King d4. It is black's turn, and black kind of has the opposition now because it's separated by one square. It's our turn to play. King c6. Here, it is not king c4. King c4 is losing because of this. It is the same position as our king b3 variation. But again, we saw what happened earlier with this dark square movements with the black king. Black is going to end up on e5, and after king b7 here, it's the same story. So king d6, just by looking at that, doesn't work. So we have to keep confronting the black king and not let the king do anything. Now black doesn't have many moves in this position. Now let's say king d3, king c6. You can try to do this, but king b7 now kind of far away from the position. In all the other variations, the king was on d6, but here it's still on c5. So after takes king c6, I have king on b8, and then I can now whatever you do, I just queen and I win. Let's just see if there's anything else that we need to check here. King b4 is another option, but after king c6, king a5, king b7, it's the same thing as king a3, king a4, and king a5. We reach here, and then we just take this. We cannot get to c7 because we'll get to b8 and stop the king. And whatever you do, blah, 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 and we queen. Whoa, what an endgame. Let's go all the way back. We're just gonna recap our solution here. So if you skipped ahead to this part of the video, here's the solution for you. The only winning move here for white is to play king to e6. Any other move doesn't work, as I showed in the video. And after king c3, we're gonna play king to d5, not king to d6. That is again a draw. King to d5, and only after this move, black does not have any other any other way to draw this game. So black, let's say, plays king d3 after king c6, king c4, king b7. Whatever black plays in this position, we are gonna just queen our pawn, and it's a win. Yeah, check out the video if you skipped to this part of the video, because I showed like how black has a hidden plan to stalemate the white king in this position. So if you want to check that out. But hope you guys enjoy this video. Leave a like on this video if you liked it, and subscribe to the channel if you like content like this. Catch you guys in the next one.